followed by Leo.
Sir, will the President bring up the issue of the country's claim on Sabah uh, when he visits Kuala Lumpur within the week?
We do not know the details regarding those matters, but as far as I know, it's not on the table, as far as I know. As far as I know, but I may be wrong.
How would it affect, sir, yung relasyon or yung pagbisita ng presidente sa Kuala Lumpur regarding dun sa sinabi ni Normiswari that Malaysia was behind the kidnappings in Sipadan?
And that was Normiswari's opinion. So it'll have to be, but the president himself did not voice that concern.
Thank you, Marlon. Leo?
Sir, balikan ko lang yung sa Yolanda. May cabinet meeting naman, di ba? And the Vice President was there also. Hindi ba natanong si Vice President Robredo kung bakit hanggang ngayon wala pang pabahay?
Ewan ko po kung it wasn't directly addressed, that sort of thing. It wasn't directly addressed.
So wala pa until now? Kasi lahat naman, alam naman na nasa dilawan si Vice President. So parang ibinigay sa kanya yung katungkulan na yun bilang HUDCC, and then until now parang wala pa. Ang mga taga-Amerika nagtatanong dahil pumunta siya doon, humihingi siya ng tulong, humihingi siya ng pondo, bakit walang nangyayari?
It's something that we'll just have to wait for the report, the final report coming from Secretary Duty Taguibalo. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
No more follow-up or other issue? Henry Uri?
Sec, just a follow-up dun sa statement ni Ginong Miswari about Malaysia as he tagged as a kidnapper.
Okay.
Is the government disowning the statement of Mr. Miswari?
Not disowning, but not taking it on, taking it as its own position. Okay, that was Miswari's position. Okay.
So ano ho yung eksaktong pagkakatimpla doon ng gobyerno? Wala tayong ang gobyerno walang kinalaman sa sinabi niya.
Walang kinalambik. That was the position of Ms. Wari. If it's talked about in the sidelines, then it will be talked about. But it's not the government's position.
It's his own.
It's Ms. Wari's position.
Okay.
Ted Tuvera?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, kahapon po may binanggit po si Secretary Delfin Lorenzana na magpapatuloy pa rin po yung balikatan exercises.
Okay.
As he presented it to the President, sir. So, any thoughts on this, sir? Bakit nagbago po yung posisyon ni President? Kasi sinasabi niya last na daw po yung joint military exercise, yung FIBLEX po, sir.
This particular exercise is going to be the last, right?
Yung FIBLEX po, sinabi niya yung last October, yun na raw po yung last. Pero sabi ni Secretary Lorenzana kahapon, magpapatuloy pa rin daw po yung balikatan, sir.
It's a statement we'll have to clarify with the Secretary. We'll get back to you on that. Okay, thank you.
Follow-up question about Balikatan? Yolanda? Other issue? Marlon?
Just on the Paris Agreement on climate change. When the President said he would sign the international treaty, is he joking or should the people take him seriously this time?
Why should he be joking about that?
It's a serious...
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sir, can you tell us about exactly how the discussion went about the... were you there, sir? Kasi sinasabi niya
basically, he at the end of the meeting, Sec Gina was tasked to go to join the Marrakesh meetup, and she would come back, but basically the president already gave his implicit agreement to sign, just as long as all the issues would be clarified. His main issue, of course, was climate justice. He was very, very concerned about climate justice, and also there were certain things that he was quite concerned about, like sanctions to be taken if and when, because the agreement is not supposed to be binding. He wanted clarification regarding that. So these are some of the matters that need clarification, but implicitly he does agree with it. He did agree with it, as he said so yesterday.
Sir, the President said he and Secretary Asay were among those who... Actually, they're the only ones who opposed the signing of or the ratification of the Paris Agreement. How about dun sa mga, among those who supported it, sino yung pinaka-vocal about the signing of the agreement?
Sec Gina. Sec Gina, of course.
May we know your position, sir?
My position is I don't have any opinion.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Marlon. Benji Liwanag? Yung microphone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Other topic. Yesterday, may sinabi si Pangulo na sa mga reporters na... Okay, sir. May sinabi si Pangulo yesterday na inutusan lang bumili ng tinapay, naging broadcaster na. Are you privy kung sino itong broadcaster na tinutukoy niya, sir?
Fortunately, not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tina Mendez, Philippine Star.
Sir, may we know any updates dun sa rescue operation sa German National?
It's being undertaken. The whole matter is under investigation, and there's a process going on behind it. Okay, thank you.
Sir, last week may nabanggit din ang Pangulo sa kidnapping sa Binondo of 6 nationals. May denial, tapos ngayon may verification ng NCRPO. Any update?
Basically, I think recently Senator Lacson made mention of that. Okay, so there seems to be an acknowledgement regarding the matter. Okay, thank you. I would like to make a correction regarding the statement that today, regarding Yolanda, the Yolanda event, we remember the 3rd year anniversary, and but we also remember the triumph of the human spirit.
Okay, Ted Tuvera.
Sir, regarding po dun sa sinabi kahapon ni Presidente na kinakancel niya na po yung pagbili ng mga armas sa US. Sir, how do you reconcile yung statement niya? Kasi yung unang sinabi niya, pwede naman siyang bumili sa ibang bansa. Pero sinabi niya towards the end ng speech niya na hindi naman natin kailangan ng mga armas. How do you reconcile yung ganung pagkakaiba, sir, ng statement niya?
From what I understand from the statement, he said pwede. Although there's caution in his statement. In other words, he said that what's the purpose of purchasing so much arms? Otherwise, it would be used. Would it be used against the Filipino people? So there's a certain caution that he has himself. Although, in terms of purchasing, it can be purchased from other places.
Sir, may binanggit din po si Pangulo last week na gusto niya raw po bumili ng missile sa Russia. Is that a joke, sir?
Probably so. Probably so. Maybe it's a light-hearted statement. Yes.
Henry.
Secretary Igso Yolanda, anong ilalatag na ngayon ng Duterte administration sa pabahay, livelihood, sa mga tagal ng hinihinging tulong ng mga biktima ng Yolanda?
I think that's part of the report that Judy Taguevalo is finalizing and laying out. So we'll as soon as the report is made clear and final, then we can discuss that.
Meron na ba tayong a certain amount na pinag-usapan sa palasyo kung magkano ang ilalabas na pondo ng gobyerno para sa Yolanda?
But I don't have the amount for that. Okay.
Thank you, Henry. Nel Maribuhok, to be followed by Marlon.
Sir, suportado po ba ng Malacañang yung version ng lower house na emergency powers? Dahil kahapon idinitalya nila yung nilalaman ng emergency powers. It includes yung preventing lower courts to issue TRO on programs para sa traffic programs, traffic crisis. Then yung rationalization of PUBs. Supportive po ba tayo dun sa
It will have to go through Sectogades opinion. And so we'll just have to wait until they come up with the final statement.
But are we on target? Kasi by December yata ang kanilang target to pass the emergency powers nung...
Well, yeah, I suppose we're still on target, considering that we're still November. December is coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Nel. Marlon, to be followed by Raymond. Bombo, Tinasa.
Sir, how do you respond to criticisms that the brazenness of the killing of Mayor Espinosa and other drug suspects who are already detained or already in custody were actually a result of the president's remarks about the drug war and about
You know, the death of Mr. Espinosa does not add to the gain of the government nor to the president. There's nothing to gain in that situation. So it's something that really needs to be examined and investigated properly.
do you think, sir, the policemen or behind those killings, not only of the death of Mayor Espinosa, but of others na nahuli na, but they were killed while in custody? Do you think that's directly a result of yung mga strong statements ni Presidente in public?
I think the
Na
best.
papatayin niya yung drug pusher.
I think the better thing is to really refer to this as part of the. This is aside from this. This is already opinion, but what does the president have to gain from what is to gain from having those people allowed to be killed while in custody? So the better part of the understanding of these matters would be to consider that these are part of internecine killings, drug-related deaths, drug trade-related deaths. So it's not a question of being incited by. Being incited by the words of the president. I think these are actually actions taken by certain parties who are interested in the elimination of those parties who are being decimated.
But, Ilan, sir, there are several cases already of yung the persons are already in custody, they're already arrested, and yet they're still what Senator Lacson said, that summarily executed.
I think that's an unfortunate way of describing the situation, because that would assume that those people are being killed because of state sanction. So it really is not. It's not the best part of. It's not the best way to describe the situation. Thank you.
Raymond Tinasa. Microphone, Ace, please. Ace, thank you.
Last two questions. Last question, please.
Hi, sir. Good noon.
Yes.
Good morning. Sir, na-clarify na ba sa PNP or NBI?
Come again?
Na-clarify na ba sa PNP or even sa NBI yung nireport ni President previously na 6 cases of kidnapping in Binondo over the past 3 weeks? Kasi parang it appears na parang yung NCRPO are parang blinded or they nowhere to find these cases daw.
I think based on the Senator Lacson's report yesterday, statement yesterday, I think it's already, there is an acknowledgement that the situation, it really exists.
Sir, doon sa cancellation of the purchase order of the 26,000 assault rifle from US, categorical, what was the real reason? Is it because of the alleged parang pagharang ni Senator Cardin, or it's the necessity of not buying, or not that, or it's because of not actually necessary to buy new weapons for the PNP?
Well, based on the statement of the president, he said he could look elsewhere. So in other words, an alternative is being provided, although it's not necessary that he may actually purchase the whole 26,000, because he said, what's the cost? What's the reason for actually loading up on artillery?
Yeah. So it's actually
Okay, thank you.
So it was actually cancelled because it is US.
That's your statement. That's not my statement.
Okay, sir.
Thank
Dali
you.
muna natin sila sa event sa Shangri-La with Secretary Rodolfo Salalima.
So we now have some words from the greatest sponsor. The greatest sponsor is Malacañang, and we need to hear from the office of the president. And the person who will deliver the address from the office of the president is someone I knew quite well when I became the Secretary of the DICT, because during cabinet meetings, we are seatmates together with Secretary Andanar, Mr. Femia, and the Budget Secretary. This person is not only human. To my mind, he is very humane in his dealings with us. This person is very good-natured. He is a very, very balanced person, very rational. Ladies and gentlemen, I present now to you the defender of the faith, the defender of Malacañang, the presidential spokesperson, Secretary Ernie Abella.
Secretary Rodolfo Salalima of the Department of Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Congressman Cesar Sarmiento, Chair of the House Committee on Transportation, Executive Director Julito Vitriolo of the Commission on Higher Education, Undersecretary Eliseo Rio of the DICT, Undersecretary Dennis Villorente of the DICT, industry partners, media, and fellow public servants, good morning. In his first State of the Nation address, President Rodrigo Duterte addressed the national traffic situation and called it a crisis, saying, "Congestion impedes the mobility of people, goods, and services, and threatens the livability of our cities." He also urged government agencies to make use of the computers, which is his graphic way of saying that government needs to leapfrog into the information age and make full use of information technology to deliver more efficient public service. Metro Manila's massive traffic gridlock costs the economy, according to studies, 2.4 billion pesos a day in business losses, opportunity costs, high personal expenses, and lost income owing to the loss of time and decreased productivity. These are monies that we can ill afford to lose, and which we propose can be plowed back into productive use through the societal applications of ICT, information and communication technology solutions. Our workers, employees, business, households, and students spend many unproductive hours on the road, not only in Metro Manila, but also in the highly urbanized areas of Rizal, Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, and Metro Cebu. The root cause being the lack of roads and inadequate mass transport system. While we expect the needed public infrastructures to be addressed within a few years, the negative economic results caused by massive traffic jams cannot wait that long. Information technology can provide the necessary intervention. For example, employees can telecommute instead of physically traveling and thereby help unclog blocked traffic arteries. In its different forms, telecommuting refers to teleworking, telepresence, telelearning. Through teleworking, the employee utilizes communications and IT solutions so he or she can work from home or an alternative work site as they would in the traditional workplace. Through telepresence, small groups can have face-to-face meetings through video conferencing and remote presence technology. Education can greatly benefit from telelearning technology. Public schools and government learning centers can allow students and faculty to hold classes and school activities without being physically together on campus. This is especially helpful for community-based learning, TESDA courses, and continuing adult education. In this regard, the DICT is leading government-wide telecommuting telecommuting efforts. Since telecommuting technology is broadband internet-based, DICT is facilitating and accelerating public access to the internet by expanding the broadband structure throughout the country, ensuring connectivity and lower costs for high-speed remote and mobile access. To promote the concept of telecommuting, it is important to have significant public-private partnership and a public policy enabling environment. For example, the private sector in partnership with the government sector aim to develop and provide ICT solutions, lasting systems, ICT-based traffic management, parking management, carpooling, installation of high-speed Wi-Fi zones along congested roads. These incremental efforts to mitigate the traffic crisis as government continues to expand and improve the road network and public transport of the country. The responsibility of providing a more comfortable life for every Filipino, as the President said in his inaugural speech, cannot be done by a single government agency, but only through the collaborative effort of all agencies in partnership with private industries. It harks back to bayanihan, an ancient Filipino value that we need to rediscover as we pull together in our quest to build a nation that serves the Filipino people's interests ahead of personal gain, believing that as we give, so also we receive. We are confident that this forum will be a success with the draft EO to be recommended to the President. We thank the organizing committee, the DICT agencies, the individuals and partners in the industry who have collaborated to make this event possible. Thank you for lightening the load. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Secretary Abella. So, how are you there, sir?
Questions?
You have any question, Malacañang Press Corps? Secretary Salalima, you have question, Marlon?
There's a question over there.
About Vance Fernandez, Secretary Salalima, Malacañang Press Corps, Vance Fernandez.
Hello, sir. Yes, good morning, sir. This is with regards to the BPO industry. I think that the President mentioned last time that we would be able to get out of this BPO industry with the United States now. What can this, the ICT do with this kind of, what can this be, the ICT do with this BPO industry in the Philippines?
Secretary Salalima.
Right now we are experiencing audio problems. I think it would be faster if I go there and explain that to use telecommuting. But this is precisely the problem that we are facing in our country right now. We still have to improve our infrastructure so that things like this will be minimized. No? Actually, what happened here is that Malacañang had a fire drill, 9 o'clock in the morning. They cut off all the electricity in the whole compound of Malacañang. And we were doing very fine before 9 o'clock. But when they put all of the power back, then this thing, so we have to more
consider these things in the way we do things as explained. Thank you very much, maybe sir, we could do this later with a better reception.
Okay, thanks. Salamat po, Secretary Rodolfo Salalima, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Okay, thank you Malacañang Press Corps. Thank you.
Secretary Abella, thank you very much for gracing our summit.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you Secretary
Thank you.
Salalima.
That ends the
Thank you Malacañang Press Corps. Thank you Presidential
Thank you,
Spokesperson
Secretary.
Ernesto Abella,
Just
back to our
go
main
ahead.
studio sa Radyo ng Bayan at PTV4.
Okay,
Back to you on that. Okay, thank you.
Follow-up question about Balikatan, Yolanda. Other issue, Marlon?
Just on the Paris Agreement on climate change. When the president said he would sign the international treaty, is he joking or should the people take him seriously this time?
Why should he be joking about that?
It's a serious...
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sir, can you tell us about exactly how the discussion went about the were you there, sir? Kasi
Yes.
sinasabi niya
Basically, basically, he at the end of the meeting, Sec Gina was tasked to go to join the Marrakesh meetup, and she would come back, but basically the president already gave his implicit agreement to sign, just as long as all the issues would be clarified. His main issue, of course, was climate justice. He was very, very concerned about climate justice, and also there were certain.
Followed by Leo.
Sir, will the president bring up the issue of the country's claim on Sabah when he visits Kuala Lumpur within the week?
We do not know the details regarding those matters, but as far as I know, it's not on the table. As far as I know, but I may be wrong.
How would it affect, sir, yung relasyon or yung pagbisita ng presidente sa Kuala Lumpur regarding dun sa sinabi ni Normiswari that Malaysia was behind the kidnappings in Sipadan?
And that was Nurmiswari's opinion. So it'll have to be, but the president himself did not voice that concern.
Thank you, Marlon. Leo?
Sir, balikan ko lang yung sa Yolanda. May cabinet meeting naman, di ba? And the Vice President was there also. Hindi ba natanong si Vice President Robredo kung bakit hanggang ngayon wala pang pabahay?
Certain things that he was quite concerned about, like sanctions to be taken if and when, because the agreement is not supposed to be binding. He wanted clarification regarding that. So these are some of the matters that need clarification, but implicitly he does agree with it. He did agree with it, as he said so yesterday.
Sir, the president said he and Secretary Asay were among those who, actually they're the only ones who opposed the signing of or the ratification of the Paris Agreement. How about dun sa mga among those who supported it? Sino yung pinaka-vocal about the signing of the agreement?
Sec Gina. Sec Gina, of course.
May we know your position, sir?
My position is I don't have any opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlon. Benji Liwanag? Yung microphone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Other topic. Yesterday, may sinabi si Pangulo na sa mga report.
Ewan ko po kung it wasn't directly addressed, that sort of thing. It wasn't directly addressed.
So wala pa until now. Kasi lahat naman, alam naman na nasa dilawan si Vice President. So parang ibinigay sa kanya yung katungkulan na yun bilang HUDCC, and then until now parang wala pa. Ang mga taga-Amerika nagtatanong, dahil pumunta siya doon, humihingi siya ng tulong, humihingi siya ng pondo, bakit walang nangyayari?
It's something that we'll just have to wait for the report, the final report coming from Secretary Duty Taguiwalo. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
No more follow-up or other issue? Henry Uri?
Sec, just a follow-up dun sa statement ni Ginong Miswari about Malaysia as he tagged as a kidnapper.
Okay.
Is the government disowning the statement of Mr. Miswari?
Not disowning, but not taking it on, taking it as its own position. Okay, that was Miswari's position. Okay.
So ano ho yung eksaktong pagkakatimpla doon ng gobyerno? Wala tayong ang gobyerno walang kinalaman sa sinabi niya.
Walang kinalaman. That was the position of Miswari. Another, if it's talked about in the sidelines, then it will be talked about. But it's not the government's position.
It's his own.
It's Miswari's position.
Ted Tuvera?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, kahapon po may binanggit po si Secretary Delfin Lorenzana na magpapatuloy pa rin po yung balikatan exercises.
Okay.
As he presented it to the President, sir. So, any thoughts on this, sir? Bakit nagbago po yung posisyon ni President? Kasi sinasabi niya last na daw po yung joint military exercise, yung FIBLEX po, sir.
This particular exercise is going to be the last, right?
Yung FIBLEX po, sinabi niya, yung last October, yun na raw po yung last Pero sabi ni Secretary Lorenzana kahapon, magpapatuloy pa rin daw po yung balikatan, sir.
It's a statement we'll have to clarify with the Secretary. We'll get